Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. How you guys doing? It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. It's almost over, and I'm just going to be able to, go ahead and gratiate your ears with my fantastic voice and some incredible basketball stuff. So here's the thing. This is what we got. Joel Embid put on a show last night with the Sixers. That's who he plays for. He plays for the Sixers. They played the Timberwolves. I don't know if you guys have watched Timberwolves lately, but they're back. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about LeBron and his 17 dimes. Also, Joel Embid has been reading my mind because I said, and you know what? This actually speaks a lot to me having a little bit more respect for Joel Embid. I already respected him, but I have even more respect for him because of an interview he gave about his personality, which I actually think is great. You know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go straight into that. Fine. We're going to go straight into it. I was going to talk to you guys about I have something else I want to talk about with you because the Ball brothers have been shipped off to Lithuania. Like it's a done deal. They're under a 1 month to go, and that's what they're going to do. I'm going to get to that. But I got to talk about this Joel Embid thing because I feel like it's kind of interesting. So last night, the Sixers played the Timberwolves. I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but the Timberwolves are pretty good. I've mentioned them here and there on the show, but I don't really know if you guys have been paying attention. But they're good. I mean, they got Jimmy Buckets, they got your man's Teague, they got Wiggs, they got Towns. Those are great. Like abbreviations of names, by the way, just in case you guys didn't know. Those are great names. And if you don't like them, then I might be disrespectful and call you a hater, but I won't do that because I love you guys. But we got the Timberwolves are cold, and I need you guys to show a little bit of respect for them because right now they're 16-12. To anybody that doesn't watch a lot of basketball, that may not sound like they're really good, but they haven't been like relevant or in the playoff hunt in I don't know how long. I won that. Actually, you know what? We know how long. They haven't been relevant since Kevin Garnett played there. And remember, at one point they got Kevin Love. We're like, oh my God, Kevin Love's really, really good. And everyone wanted to convince themselves how good Kevin Love was, but he just needed more players around him. And he did need more players around him, but he can't carry a team by himself. Like it's not that kind of guy. But yeah, the Timberwolves were in fourth place, and they were great. They were great to watch. Like the other night, they were really good to watch. However, They had to hold this L that was given to them by Philadelphia, which is going to happen because, I mean, Philly is hellacious. They're incredible. Joel Embid had 28 and 12, and he had 8 assists. And him and Ben Simmons, they weren't, I'm not going to say they were playing badly, but they probably weren't playing like their best game. And at one point during the game, they combined for 16 assists. So they're not playing their best ball, but let me not say Joel Embid wasn't playing his best. He had 28 buckets. But at one point when the game was kind of tough, they had stats that combined for 16 assists. So when your two best players aren't really like hitting the shots they need to hit, but they're still passing the ball, oh my, like you got a problem. You got not a problem for the team, for anyone else. You got a problem. That's Warrior flow. That's Warrior flow right there. I compliment the Warriors on that a lot because even probably not Klay so much because Klay's going to pull, and I love the way Klay will pull. But Steph I'm going to say Steph is the best shooter in the Warriors. It's a battle between him and Klay, depending on how you like your jump shots. I'm going to say Steph is the best shooter, but he still passes the ball. When your best player is still diming the ball, you got a problem. You have a problem. And I mean like significant dimes. I don't mean bailouts. I'm not talking about bailout dimes. I don't mean like Kobe Bryant and Kyrie Irving dimes where, I'm going to have to give this person the ball. I don't have a choice. I'm stuck. Not like that. I mean like real life dimes. So when your best player, your best two players are combining for 16 assists, you definitely got a problem. So Joel Embid ended the game with 28 buckets, and Ben Simmons did what he does because he's Ben Simmons. Have you guys ever watched him play? I just want to know, because here's the thing. Like I've heard of him playing. I've seen highlights, but I've never like watched him with like me, with my vision, with my eyeballs, these two eyeballs. I've never watched him play. And he's really a huge guard. Like he really is just as fast and handles the rock like a guard. He's playing like a huge, small person. It's masterful. You have to see it. Jimmy Buckets had 38 buckets last night. Oh, by the way, I told you guys to watch Damian Lillard in Portland playing the Oracle, because when he goes to Oakland, he goes bad. I asked you guys to do that for me, and he dropped 39. So if you missed it, then but I digress. Anyway, and last night's game went into overtime, and the Philadelphia 76ers, they ended up winning by 6 points, which, I mean, I don't know. If you guys didn't watch it, it was a really good game. It was really solid. It was good basketball. The Timberwolves look really good. They don't have any big names, or they don't have any huge name personalities on there. That's why you probably don't hear about them. But geez, I mean, come on. Like they're playing great balls. Hopefully you guys get a chance to watch them. The Sixers have JJ Redick, and JJ Redick has to be one of the happiest people in the history of basketball. Like to leave the Clippers, that was basically, I mean, watching a dumpster fire basically like fall apart, like watching someone walk towards a dumpster that you know is full of flammables, and that person walking towards it has a match, and they're walking really slow and they're looking at you. I feel like JJ Redick was like, oh, this is going to become a dumpster fire. This is going to be a dumpster fire. And then he ends up on the Sixers. He has to be the happiest person in the world, because the Clippers are a dumpster fire. And now JJ Redick is going to be on a Sixer team that's going to make the playoffs for the first time in, I don't know, more than 7 years. So, I mean, big ups to JJ Redick. I'm very, very happy for him within this situation. There's a reason that Joel Embid is incredibly unstoppable. I'm going to tell you why. He can shoot the ball, right? We all know that. He can shoot the ball. He has a Euro step, and he's huge. His footwork is incredible. Masterful. It's remarkable. But he has this shot fake. He has a shot fake like a high school kid that is really slow. And what I mean by that is like not even really slow. What I mean by that is, if you don't have the best speed, your fundamentals are on point, you can destroy people. Like, I mean, if your jab steps are on point, if your pivot step is on point, if you got a good rocker step, if your pump fake is legit, it's good. He has a pump fake, a shot fake it's outstanding. He's done shot fakes where like I wanted to jump off the couch, and I don't even know why people are even jumping, because he's gonna shoot the ball over you. So like if you're jumping, I'm not exactly sure. What are you plan on blocking his shot? Like I don't know. But he has this shot fake, and then he swings the ball around and takes it to the cup, and he does it like a guard. And it sells itself so well every time. You know how you've seen players do like a lazy shot fake, like it doesn't even look like a shot fake, it looks like a chest pass fake. Like I'm not gonna fall for that. It's not gonna happen. But Joel Embiid shot fake, it's something else. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this is what I want to get to. Joel Embid was asked about his personality and him being really popular and people liking him, and because you know he's a fan favorite right now, and let's say he's a young guy, and let's say nobody really knows anything about him, and let's say his expectations aren't that high right now because he's on Philly. Actually, last night he played a career high in minutes, which was 39 minutes, because he's on this alleged minute restriction, which I think minute restriction is an interesting word they started using, and I take my hat off to the players, to the coaches, or GMs, whoever invented this whole like minute restriction idea, because like to say minute restriction is better than like resting players, right? So like when it gets to like the time of the year when I'm going to say leading up to All-Star game, maybe when the year's over, and we start doing like more resting players because the NBA doesn't want players taking breaks and want them to play all 82 games and leave it on the floor every single game so that the games that don't matter, like whatever that means. So this whole minute restriction thing, I think it's clever. Like I think to say that is like minute restriction. Oh, we're not resting players. It's just a minute restriction. So when we get to February, we're gonna be like, hey, LeBron's on a 13 minute restriction. So that's how long he can play. So sorry, he can only play 13 minutes a game. It's not rest. It's a minute restriction. It's his ankle. But anyway, so he had a career high in minutes, which was 39, and he was asked during an interview how he feels about his popularity. And he said, people love you at the beginning, but at some point they're going to start hating you. LeBron, Russell Westbrook, all the superstars, even Steph. He's so likable. He does nothing wrong, but some people still hate him. It just comes with the nature. I've seen it. I feel like I'm about to go through it. I think it's coming. People always want something new. Now, and then in the interview they said Joel Embid is possibly the NBA's most effervescent personality. Fans appreciate his authenticity, his role on the young upstart, and that he's no longer held prisoner to a rigid minute restriction, even though he is. They also talk about we tend to give players a little bit of space who haven't had that much time in the league, which I think is a lie, because a lot of times players that are young, people find ways to destroy them. I.e. Lonzo Ball. Like he doesn't get any slack. But I think Joel Embiid's completely right. And I'm gonna be an I told you so master right now, because that's where I'm at with this. Is I said that I said that it'd be great if someone else began to talk as much trash as he does, because if no one else begins to talk trash with him or like bangs with him like that, then it's gonna come to a point where people are gonna see it as bullying and they're gonna start to dislike him. So like if they go to the playoffs this year, or they will, and they eliminate somebody, he's gonna get some haters. Actually, when they go to the playoffs and more people can see him play, because a lot of NBA fans, they're not watching games in the regular season. I mean, me as myself, I don't watch all. There's 30 teams, 82 games. I don't know what the math on that is. I mean, I don't know. It's like 1,000, right? Maybe it's 3,000 games, something like that. It's a lot of games. So I'm not watching every single game, but for people that only watch playoff basketball, I have a lot of friends like that tell me about something, and I'm like, see, that's not, no, Jimmy Butler doesn't really play for the Bulls anymore, so that's not really a thing. So, yeah, well, people don't watch a lot of regular season, so, and they hear Joel Embiid, they're like, oh, Joel Embiid, blah, 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 blah. But once the playoff starts, when he goes to the playoffs and begins to bang on people and let people have it, and we're playing playoff basketball and we're calling playoff fouls, and he's a television star, that's when I think they're going to rain the hate on him, and when he's talking smack. And I mean, I feel like within him, it's a good thing that he sees it coming, because and to make him ready. I feel like Steph Curry was ready for it as well. I mean, the same thing happened with Steph. Like, I mean, Steph always had a little shimmy and a little boogie, but once the Warriors got further into the playoffs, it was like, oh, okay, oh, word, oh, like that? Or you just gonna hit a 3-pointer and then dance? Oh, you're gonna just Harlem Shake? Oh, okay. Well, we see this. Remember when there used to be the little cutesy-wootsy Warriors that couldn't get over the hump of the Spurs? Oh, they're so cutesy-wootsy, the young Warriors. Now nobody wants any parts of him. Porzingis will go through the same thing. Eventually, Porzingis, this happy unicorn flow, when they go to the playoffs and Porzingis starts to bang on people, it's going to be a problem. This guy thinks he's this. He has this look on his face, baby-faced assassin, but the tall version. So yeah, Joel Embiid, he's just, I'm going to say he's really in tune with this star player. That's something that Cat Williams would say. In tune with their star player, which is you. Like, you're the team, you, and then your star player is like your ego. It's deeper than rap. You'll figure it out. Google or something. But yeah, I can appreciate him saying that, because he's aware. If he's aware that the love isn't real, like for people to say, people always want something new. And I feel like what's going to happen with him is I think that Joel Embiid is going to be more of the, even, this is funny, but Kevin Durant, people used to love Kevin Durant. Then he left, then he went to Warriors, and suddenly we had the jersey burnings and the Twitter and all that, whatever. But when he left, when LeBron went to the Miami Heat, I want to say Kevin Durant signed his extension like at the same time, and he was celebrated by OKC fans for being, I guess, low key about it and not having a big announcement like a decision like LeBron did. There were these comparisons about Kevin Durant being so humble and being such a better person than LeBron and all this, all the narrative. That's why Nike had to have the Not Nice campaign for Kevin Durant, because he was viewed as like being too nice. And he went to the Warriors and suddenly, the jersey burnings and all that. But I think the best example, the best comparison to that is going to be, I'm going to say Joel Embiid and Giannis, because I think what's going to happen is once his spotlight is bigger, well, spotlight's already big, but once his stage is larger and he's in the playoffs and he gets to, we all get to see Joel Embiid on like prime time, people aren't going to like him, and they're going to have complaints, and they're going to be they're not going to like it anymore, which is fine. He's aware of that. And I think I want to say LeBron's KD is going to be Joel Embiid's Giannis, basically. I think that's going to be like the comparison. And once Joel Embiid is more, what's the word? Yeah. Once he becomes more polarizing to everybody, people are going to dislike him and be like, oh, why can't he just be more humble like Giannis? And that's what people do. Like Joel Embiid said, people want something new, which is a mature way to think about it, which basically means he's not going to be one of these people that's going to be like, oh my God, they hate me now. What am I going to do? They used to love me, now they hate me, and then jump off a bridge or something wild like that. So, I mean, big ups to him. I appreciate his authenticity. When I get back, I'm going to give you guys the latest update on the Ball brothers. Apparently, they've been deported, and the Lithuania basketball experiment is going to start now. So we'll be right back with that. Don't go anywhere. I'm as excited as you are. Give me just a moment.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the one and only GSMC Podcast Network for all your podcasting needs. So I just was telling you guys about how Joel Embid basically recognizes all the love he's getting right now isn't necessarily forever, and how people always love what's new. And he's seen people love and then hate people, like he mentioned Steph Curry, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook. And let me just clarify this real quick. I want to actually recognize this, because I've heard players say, like, when they've been booed or like been like, I guess, disrespected by fans, that it affects them, like people say that it affects them and how they feel, and it's respectable, if someone goes from saying I love you to going to like I hope you die, and then they say things about like your mom and all type of stuff, like you'd be like, oh word, like but you bought a shirt with my name on it, and you wear it on, like, you used to wear my name on your back, like you went to a store and gave them money and said, hey, I want that shirt with that other man's name on it, and I want to wear that shirt on my back. And now you hate me? Like, that's a far, far fall. However, I want to say for Joel Embid to say, hey, people always want something new. I want to recognize the millennialness of that, because I'm gonna say it. Us millennials get a bad rap or whatnot as far as like being overly sensitive, or people call us the trophy for anything generation. You get a trophy for coming in last place, all that whoop-de-wop, whatever. But for Joel Embid to be someone that recognizes how social media works, and I think a lot of people that are tech savvy, not just millennials, who recognize how social media works, or how business works, or how marketing works, they always want something new. And for him to say that, I think is a mark of someone that's in tune with what our society is right now. That's why he's all over social media. He knows people always want something new. So I mean, like, big ups to him. So eventually everyone loves him now. And when he does get booed, and Philly has like a rivalry with another team, and it's a big deal when he goes somewhere and he's booed and people say rude things to him, it's not going to faze him. Why? Because he's aware that all the love he was getting in the beginning didn't really mean anything. He's playing basketball, having a good time, which I respect that. I really do. And I feel like I think more of us should take lessons within that. We should the things that we do, that we love, that we're passionate about, shouldn't really matter how much love we get for them. It should just be you enjoying what you're doing, which is basically why he said he talks trash, because he's just having a good time. He's asked about the love. He says, it's going to go away. People always want something new, but he's still enjoying the game, and I just appreciate that. I appreciate that. Mekhi Phifer, Money Making Mitch in Paid in Full, said, man, if I leave the game, will the fans still love me, Ace? Will the fans still love me? Will they still cheer for me at the game? And it was a deep part of the movie, which, if you're participating in something for a long time, then you miss that. Then it's hard, because that adulation and the accolades you receive are all that matters. But it seems like this dude is just playing ball. So hopefully that wasn't too deep for you. I'm going to get back to what you want to hear about, which is the ball drama. That's not like an innuendo for basketball entertainment. When I say ball drama, I mean the Ball family. So you got your man's Lonzo, you got LiAngelo, and you got LaMelo. So as basically what ended up happening was Big Baller Brand released the shoe. When Big Baller Brand released the shoe, and the college found out that, okay, well, LaMelo, the youngest one, has his own shoe, he can't go to college. So it's kind of like this thing like, hey, he has a shoe, because if he has a shoe deal, he can't go to college. Then you have LiAngelo, who got caught stealing in China and was basically going to be benched for a whole year at UCLA. Not a whole year, but he wasn't going to play indefinitely, and then probably wasn't going to get that much burn. And they wanted him to go to the league like the next year, like immediately. So basically, LeVar felt like, yo, you guys are going to play overseas. I want my boys to play on the same team together. They're going to go play. And so he pulled LaMelo out of high school several months ago, and then pulled LiAngelo out of UCLA, because who wants to go to UCLA completely free of charge, like on scholarship, and play for the basketball team? Like, who would want to do that? That's silly. So you pulled both of them out of there and got them an agent who is Lonzo Ball's agent. So, that agent is winning, and they're going to go play in Lithuania. Charles Barkley had a little bit to say about it. He said that LeVar Ball is everything that is wrong with basketball, and that people shouldn't say he's a good dad just because he's exploiting his children, exploiting them, making money off of them, and people shouldn't say that he's a good dad just because of that. One thing I do want to say about Charles Barkley's statement is that the whole exploiting word, I don't know if that's a fair word to say, because it seems like I want to say it's a cultural thing, because it feels like within some cultures, if your family is managing you and like looking out for like the best thing that you're trying to do, it's like, yeah. But in other cultures, if your family they say they have your best interest at hand, then we look at it as exploitation. And I don't have to make this, I literally don't have to make this black and white, like no pun intended. But it's odd to say that, because we're so used to, I guess, the kids getting shine and then we just give them to the NCAA, or we just give them to shoe brands, or we just give them to Nike. Like, here you go. Here's my kid. All right, now put on all this stuff. Put on all this gear. Here's your gear. All right, take pictures. Now be in this. Now be in that. Here's some money. Like, what's the difference? Like, I really want to know. I really want to know what the difference is. Is it because one brand is established? Is it because one person's like taking a chance on themselves? I just want to know, because it seems like it's okay within other arenas to do that, but not in sports, because we have a uniform environments of who we're supposed to give our kids to, whether it be the NCAA, whether it be the specific shoe brand. When it comes to, like, let's say, gymnastics, when it comes to golf, when it comes to chess, when it comes to whatever is outside of our major league sporting realm, there's parents that do that all the time, that send their kids to different schools or make it so that their children have more time to focus on this particular craft that the parent feels like is important. And it happens all the time. So to use the word exploitation and make money off, I don't necessarily feel like that's fair. When you say make money off, yeah, there's going to be rewards that are going to come, because they've worked that hard to get where they're at. And if he's exploiting them, then everyone else is exploiting children too, obviously. I mean, kids aren't getting paid to go play college ball. Like, kids aren't getting paid to have to wear particular shoes while they play during March Madness. Like, that's not how that works. So I think it's unfair just because someone's family member or their parent is making their business moves for them. I think it's unfair to say they're exploiting them. I know there's been situations where we can use that word. People have family members that are financial advisors. They go to get $100 to go send their mother, and that financial advisor says, "You don't have $100. You spent it on the Tiger, and then I needed a jet." So that's what happened. We've seen that on Broke, but the documentary Broke isn't this. It's something a little bit different. Now, when it comes to him not having particularly the best interest for them, that's something that can be debatable. Because what ended up happening was, so LiAngelo, I was under the impression at first that LiAngelo got kicked out of UCLA because of the stealing thing, but it turns out he was pulled out. Now, with him being 6'5", he can shoot the ball, but he doesn't have tremendous athletic ability. They're saying that he's not necessarily going to go to the NBA. But one would assume that if he's playing in UCLA for a while, maybe if it gives UCLA 4 years and uses the opportunity to get better, then maybe there's a possibility that he would be able to be drafted. But instead, he's getting pulled out of there. You got your 16-year-old LaMelo, who got pulled out of the high school because I'm guessing there was an issue with the coach, and it seemed, and I guess because he had the shoe deal, he couldn't go to UCLA anyway. But it's like, I want to know more background about that. Was there a situation where it was like, hey, I want to know if there was a situation where it was like, is this his shoe? Because if it's not his shoe, he can go to the school. But if it is his shoe, he can't go here. Was it a choice like that? Or was it like, no, he's affiliated with the brand, he can't go here? Was it like, because if they got blackballed inadvertently and they literally didn't want them there, like, nope, he's not a shoe, can't come here, and there was no way around it, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. But if it was a choice, like, is he affiliated with this shoe or nah? Because if he's not, we still want him to come here. But if he is, he can't, because, all this red tape and stuff, we don't want any problems. And if you just say that he's not affiliated with the shoe, and then he can go to UCLA and get better and get on the world stage and just be better and then get drafted, I don't know why. I'm not sure why the shoe would be more important than that. Like that part kind of bothers me, because Lonzo already made it to the NBA, right? So the shoe is there. If the shoe doesn't work out, fine. All the money that they invest in the shoe, Lonzo has already made that back. I don't know, quadruple fold already. It doesn't matter. So if LaMelo didn't go to UCLA because of this shoe, that to me that's selfish. And I'm not 100% sure if that's exploitation, but I think it's selfish. Now, when it comes to college opportunities, high school, and networking, those are opportunities that will be missed out on. However, within this time, it seems like they feel like they'll be able to build the brand overseas, but it's going to be a risk. It's going to be a risk because they're not going to, when you say like EuroLeague, they're not going to Lithuania and playing in like the league that Kristaps Porzingis was in. I'm not saying Kristaps Porzingis is Lithuanian. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that with the league he was in, they're playing in a smaller one. They're on a 1-month contract because the team wants to see what they have to offer, kind of. Like they want to see if they just want to see what they got to offer. Like find out if they can sell some tickets, if anyone's going to come watch them play. So it's 1 month. They got 1 month to basically prove themselves. And it's going to get a little bit less, let's say, luxurious in how we imagine overseas. Wait, that sentence is weird. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break, and then when I get back, I'm going to explain that sentence in a way that makes more sense. I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network for all your podcast needs. So, to continue what I was talking about, the Ball brothers got deported to Lithuania. They're basically going to go play basketball over there. Now, what I was getting into was about how it's not so overseas luxurious the way that we think of it to be. And when I say luxurious, I know that sounds weird because the NBA is supposed to be the top league that plays athletes $250 million to ball. So why would overseas be a luxurious, Ryan? I understand how that statement can confuse you. Let me explain what I mean. Usually when we hear overseas, we think, oh, American players going over there to be showered with gifts and parades, and they show up like it's welcome to America, and they throw petals at your feet like Prince Akeem. That's what we imagine. Like, oh, you're here to save our country. Nah. It's not like that. Like we're not doing that this time. So the way they're in basically a G League of the like top Lithuanian league. They're in like a bottom league. In this league, they play in a 2,000 seat arena. I actually think it might be less than that, but we're gonna say it's 2,000 seats. It might be 1,700, but we're gonna say 2,000 seat arena, and they don't practice a lot because the team doesn't have a lot of the funds to practice a lot. So they're kind of in a rec league. It sounds like, so kinda a little bit. Just they're kind of in a rec league, and the team has put them on the organization's put them on a 1 month contract just to kind of see what they have, if they can make some bread off of them, if people are going to go see them play. The funniest thing about it, like the most outrageous, because wait, hold on. Let me make something clear. The reason that they went to that league is because, well, one, the upper league, they weren't really going to get any burn because regardless of how things work in America, media coverage doesn't get you playing time. So it doesn't really work like that. Versus like if they were in the U.S., I mean, they get burned because the fans run everything here. Like we chant someone's name long enough, they're gonna get some burn. That's just how it works. See Tebow. So they're in a different league where they're still not gonna start. They're probably gonna play about 20 minutes a game. Now, this is odd because almost, this is where Charles Barkley was going. I feel like this is almost more spite. It starts to feel like more spite and selfishness, because now, again, I don't have all the facts. Now, if this was a situation where it's like, yo, he's affiliated with this shoe. He can't go to school here, period. We're done. That's it. If that happened, then that's fine. But if it was a choice, we can pick and choose, like, hey, just he can't wear the shoe and then he can go here. If it was, no, he's wearing the shoe, I'll just have him play somewhere else. Now we're in Lithuania where he's not going to get that much playing time. I don't know if it's exploitation, but it does seem like cutting off your nose to spite your face. If the most important thing is in playing basketball, getting exposure, and going to the NBA, one would assume that it would be good for everyone's brand, the LA brand, the Ball brand, the Laker brand, Magic Johnson brand, for the Chino's Hills kid to play really well, and then go to UCLA, and then go to the NBA. That's what we would think. That's where we would go with that. But apparently we're in Lithuania and we're going to have limited playing time in the G League in an arena that seats 2,000 people. Yeah, but it's not even the best part. Like, this isn't even this story. This is next level. Everything I was telling you guys is one level, but this part is next level. Are you ready? Okay, take your left foot, bring it up the stair. Now take your right foot, bring it up the stair. Okay, now we're next level. Check this out. So, you guys remember during Summer League when on LaMelo's team they were playing AAU ball, and LeVar Ball got upset at the ref and just took the team off of the court, just took them off the court. He just took them off. They didn't get to play the game. Just walked them off the court because he didn't like the way the ref was reffing the game. Okay, so I was told, well, from what I gathered, this coach that they're playing for is like a Lithuanian version of LeVar Ball. And I was like, how is that even possible? Like, is someone just saying that because he's outspoken? Because I'm confident in my abilities to be labeled as outspoken. And whenever someone else meets someone that's, let's say, outspoken or i.e. a little bit loud, they say, hey, Ryan, you remind me of him. Like, shut up. No, I don't. They're just loud. I'm different. Like, don't because you're quiet, don't say I'm like someone that's loud. Don't expand your analytical abilities for making comparisons, or just don't even holler at me. I digress. So I'm wondering, like, why they compare this guy to LeVar. Turns out this guy did the exact same thing LeVar did. He didn't like the way a ref was reffing the game and refused to let his players go back in the game and took them to the locker room. The exact same thing. That's next level. That's now when it takes a special type of person to do that, because you can say whatever you want to say about, well, I'm protecting my players and they're not calling the game right and they're not reffing correctly. There's a thing to that. There's a thing to that, and about not wanting to get players hurt, and there's a thing to that. And I believe that in those situations, I think that both coaches recognize it. There's been times where I've seen that. There's been times I've seen that where calls aren't being called, and both coaches are like, "Yo, what's going on? This is going to get ugly. What's happening? I need an explanation as to what's going on." But when you pull people off of the court, like that whole display, that power move of, okay, well, you don't get to ref my team. It takes a special type of individual to do that and make that decision. And if this new coach did that and pulled a LeVar move, then whoever made that comparison, I'm gonna go ahead and applaud you, because that is a very similar comparison. You don't just all willy-nilly get up and say, all right, nobody's playing. Get off the court. We're not playing. Nope. Especially when you're winning. They're not even getting smacked by 50. The game's close. Nobody's playing. It's like that's just like the kid who takes the ball home because things aren't going his way. Have you ever played? You've been. I don't know what sports you guys played. Maybe it's basketball. Hopefully it was basketball because you're listening to this. But you ever be out playing, and when you were younger and there was only one ball? This isn't when we're older and everyone brings their own ball to the gym because everyone's special and needs a special textured basketball. But when everyone would bring Before one could bring their own ball, one kid would bring a ball. He'd get mad and take his ball home. And now we don't have a ball. Why? Because he's upset about something. Maybe someone kicked it, which is a perfect analogy. Someone kicked it and he doesn't want us playing with it anymore because we're not respecting the ball or whatever. Now, again, I get that. Someone kicking the ball, it's like players getting hurt. It's not respectful. See where I'm going with this? And it makes sense. But to just take it though, it's a power move where you're just trying to like you're trying to puff your chest out. Not a lot of people are capable of doing that. So, I mean, I wish them the best over there. I'm not one of these people that's like, they're going to go over there. They're going to suck. They're going to be terrible. I hope they get eaten by a llama. I'm not any of that. I hope they do really well. I personally feel like it's going to be a massive character shift because like LaMelo and LiAngelo, they seem like they're used to being like the most important players on a basketball court. It would seem that way. They've all went to the same high school and they've started, I mean, I would say it's maybe most of their lives. Like even LeVar's situation, what's the word? LeVar's solution for trying to help Alonzo get better was they just need to put him in the fourth quarter, roll the ball out to him and tell him to figure it out. Like during the game. So that's how they've been trained to like work things out in basketball situations, which is fine. But if that's how you've always been trained to work things out, that means that when you haven't played well, you probably have maybe you've never been benched for making a mistake. So to go somewhere where you're not going to be a starter and you're going to play maybe 22 minutes a game, that's going to be a harsh transition. Now, those have to be two of the most mature 16 and 18-year-olds maybe in the history of 16 and 18-year-olds to go from that situation to sitting on a bench somewhere where you feel like you shouldn't be on a bench, especially right because say if one of them went to college and sat on the bench, right? It's like, okay, well, I recognize this college. I've seen this college on television. This arena sits 20,000 people. Like I recognize this as a big deal. I see this. I see what this is. I'll respect it. I'll sit on the bench for a minute. But to go to a different country where you don't speak the language and you feel removed and you don't really have an appreciation for that culture or for what anyone else has done there, it's like I don't gotta sit on this bench. Like, do you guys know who I think I am? Which actually kind of leads people to you stealing in China. You go somewhere else, like, you know what? I'll just do whatever I want to do here. This doesn't matter. Psh, whatever, China. Psh, I'm stealing sunglasses. Do you think that the same person would go to another country and be like, you know what, I respect the Lithuanian basketball culture, and I know I have to work hard to earn to get where I belong within this, and I want to work really hard, and I'm gonna make my way to the NBA. Now, here's my question. How do I ask you guys this? If you weren't able to like tell your dad like, yo, I want to stay at UCLA and work on my game for a few years and maybe I can get drafted. If you weren't able to like work with kids your age to like get better and, you know, get drafted, or tell your dad that you want to do that, why would playing with grown men who are all trying to go to the NBA be a situation where you would think that you would work hard enough to get drafted? I wish there was an interview with these kids and then we could just know exactly like what they wanted, because LeVar's plan, it's unorthodox and we need more facts about it. But I'm just wondering if this is really all about them playing on the Lakers. I'm beginning to really wonder if that's what this is all about. Because if that's what this is all about, I'm getting to a point where I'm all about manifest destiny and creating your own realities, and all of our habits are belief driven. But it gets to a point where it's like, you know, solely based on the odds, how will all of them end up on the Lakers if the Lakers start getting better? And then it's just weird. And if this is the way it's got to happen, if he feels that way, then hey, so be it. I'm not one to say that's not going to work, because I'm all for belief in people. I just feel like with LiAngelo going to UCLA on a package deal with his brother Alonzo, like, yo, if you guys get Alonzo, you guys got to take my brother. You guys have to take the brother, you know, because those are the rules. That's what you got to do. And they took him. So you're in a situation where you ain't even supposed to be here. You ain't even supposed to be here, and you stealing. I love when people say you ain't even supposed to be here. I love that. It's either really, really good or really, really bad when someone says that to you. Like, hey, man, you're not even supposed to be here. Like, surprise, you're here. Oh, thanks. Or you ain't even supposed to be here. Like, you shouldn't have been here in the first place, and somebody let you in, and you're acting up, and you ain't. There's no reason that this premises is somewhere that you should be present to. It's this isn't a vicinity that you should be involved in, which is interesting. So, I mean, we're going to see what happens. I'm sure sports media is going to have a field day with it based on whatever they do. I don't know what's next. Apparently, this 1 month contract starts sometime this week. They'll play the month out, and then we'll go from there. Maybe we'll finally see one of them play basketball because we talk a lot about them playing basketball, but I haven't one time seen them play basketball. So when I get back, because I'm going to take a break. Let me just not skip through a whole sentence. Let me finish my sentences. When I get back, I'm going to talk to you guys about LeBron having 17 assists. I don't know how you have 17 assists. Actually, I do know how you have 17 assists because Kyle Korver has 19 points. And I'm going to talk to you about the game of the night. I'm going to give you guys a pick of the night. I'm also going to chastise you for wait. I'm not going to chastise you. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you whether or not you watched the Blazers versus Warriors game. I'm also going to ask you whether or not you took my pick of the night, which was the Timberwolves against the Grizzlies. I think it was. I don't know. I gotta check. I don't remember off top, but I'll check it out. I'm gonna ask you what happened. If you guys didn't take it, that's 100% okay. It's fine. I don't mind. You know, sometimes you don't have time for that type of stuff, and I get it. We're all busy people. Like, for example, I won't be here on Friday because I'm gonna go to Portland to go see Jay-Z perform for like one of the last times ever. And when I get back, I'm gonna tell you guys about it on my entertainment podcast. But that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is that we're all busy, so I understand if you guys don't have time to take my picks or watch the games I recommend. I'm not going to say it hurts my feelings. I'm not going to say it makes me cry sometimes. I'm not going to say I write letters to myself and ask why you don't like me. I'm not going to say that I do any of that. I'm just going to say that if someone was to do that stuff, then they'd probably be offended. But like, not me though. Like, I'm not offended, but somebody that was offended, you know. But anyway, that's nor here nor there. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then when I get back, I'm gonna tell you guys about LeBron and his 17 assists. All right, you guys stay cool. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. I was telling you guys about the Ball brothers going to Lithuania because that's a thing now. Like, they went overseas, and I didn't know it was going to happen that fast, but they did. One thing I didn't mention is this whole shoe thing over there. I wonder how that's going to work out. Like, if they go there and then they're a big deal, is like Big Baller Brand going to be the shoe of Lithuania? That'd be kind of cool because if you think about it, like, really, Big Baller Brand to me, like, you know, like on like that name, I don't know if it's something that he made up earlier in the 90s, but it sounds kind of, you know, it sounds kind of corny. Honestly, the name, it sounds kind of corny. But over there, it might translate to something cool. Like, for example, aubergine. I saw that color the other day. I saw aubergine as a color. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Like, what's aubergine? Turns out it means eggplant. and it's a purple color. But in Europe, it's just eggplant. Like, whatever. I don't care. But to me, it's like aubergine. It sounds cool, So who knows? Anyway, last night, Atlanta played Cleveland, and it was an epic game. It 123 to 114. They've been getting buckets in this year's NBA. Like, I've seen buckets before, but like this level of bucketness it's been pretty heavy. When I saw the stats for it, I saw that LeBron had 17 assists. So instantly I'm like, who was scoring all these points? Because LeBron's going to pass the ball. LeBron's going to make people better. That's just what he does. And LeBron's so good that we take him for granted. Now, just let me make something clear, just so you guys know. Dwayne Wade didn't play last night. For whatever reason, didn't play. I don't know if he was out doing Dwayne Wade stuff, dressing really fly, doing other Dwayne Wade stuff, having waves, brushing his hair. I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing Dwayne Wade stuff. He didn't play. LeBron had 25 points and 17 assists. So I'm like, instantly in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I know who had all these points. I know who had all these points because for LeBron to be getting assists that fast, that must mean your man's Kyle Korver is on fire. He had 19, 1 rebound and 1 assist. So Kyle Korver was splashing. He averages 10, so he doubled the points that he usually has. Jeff Green had 17, Calderon had 14, and Crowder had 13 himself. So I just want to take this time to say that, I mean, can we end the season and then just give LeBron MVP? Can we just do that? Because I don't see now. I was all for James Harden MVP. I was all for that, guys. You guys know I'm and I still am. I'm still a heavy what's the word? Promoter of James Harden. I'm a heavy proponent of James Harden getting an MVP. I'm completely with it. Like, and so if he doesn't get it, can we just give it to LeBron? Because James Harden does have Chris Paul, and Chris Paul is a facilitator, and he can get James Harden the ball the way that he needs it, which is great. I'm not taking anything away from that at all. But Cleveland is in second place in the Eastern Conference, and there was all this hoopla about the Celtics being better because they won more games than them consecutively. And at one point, the Cavs were in 12th place. Now they're in second place, and they're 3 games ahead of the Toronto Raptors. So they're not just barely in second. They're in second place. Like, this isn't like if they lost tonight, they wouldn't be in second anymore. And LeBron doesn't have Derrick Rose. Dwayne Wade wasn't there last night. IT is slowly but surely getting back in the groove of things. And LeBron just keeps it moving. Now, the only reason I know who's on the Cavs is because I look at their roster pretty much every day. But do you know who's on the Cavs? Like I really, and if you do know who's on the Cavs, can you tell me which team they played on before? Because that's another thing, right? Like, I feel like we shouldn't just know people's names. We should know where they came from. You know why that says something? Because it tells me whether or not you really know who that person is. Because if you say, hey, well, they've got Kyle Korver, and I say, well, do you know who Kyle Korver played for before? And you're like, no. Then you can't tell me that he's that good, right? I know Kyle Korver is really good because Kyle Korver has played for, let's say he's played for Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, the Jazz, and the Sixers. He's in the league for a minute, just been an awesome shooter. So don't tell me how good the players LeBron has around him if you can't tell me where they were good at before. I don't need any of that. Like, if I say, for example, the Warriors won the championship, they've got Kevin Durant. Well, who was Kevin Durant before the Warriors? He played for OKC. That's usually people's comeback. Like, they don't need him. He was good over here. But don't tell me LeBron has these great players if you don't know where they played at before. All these guys LeBron is playing with, he's making them better. Like, he's making all these guys better, and they're in second place. And I was going to say this LeBron team was comparably as bad as his old Cleveland team, but that's just disrespectful because Kyle Korver, Kevin Love, Crowder, J.R. Smith, Jeff Green are all better than the kids that LeBron had to play with before. So I'm not going to be that disrespectful. I'm not going to do that. But I mean, like, LeBron for MVP at this point. I mean, it's LeBron or Harden. I'm not sure, but I think when they do the MVP thing, They got to base it on what team would be completely terrible without that player. And I know they gave it to Russell Westbrook last year because of the triple-double thing, and we really want to see round numbers. But James Harden had the most assists in the NBA. The most assists. He had the highest points per game Indy had the most assists. I don't need an analytical genius to tell me that that's efficiency. You have the most assists in the NBA and you average the most points. That means you're responsible for all the points in the world. That's my stat. So James Harden should have got that last year. I don't know about this year. Without LeBron, the Cavs would be terrible. So, I mean, LeBron for MVP. That's where we're at with this. When I spoke to you guys on Monday, I asked you guys to go ahead and watch the Blazers versus the Warriors because Damian Lillard goes off when he's in Oakland. He dropped 40. If you guys didn't watch that, that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you. It's 100% fine. I also told you to capitalize on the Miami Heat versus the Memphis Grizzlies because the Memphis Grizzlies are a dumpster fire. And for some reason, Memphis was favored by 1.5. I don't know why that was, but it's probably because the odds makers aren't watching all these games and they can't pay attention. They don't even know that like the players are hurt and that Fizdale isn't there anymore. Tonight, I'm going to bless you guys with something else. This is what I want you to do. Is John Wall back? Because if John Wall was back, I'm going to have you guys take Washington 7.5. But I'm not sure if he's back, though. I don't know. I don't know if he's playing or not. So I'm not going to do that to you. Wouldn't do that at all. This is what I need you guys to do. Tonight, I need you to watch Milwaukee versus New Orleans if you do have that game in your area because you have to see what DeMarcus Cousins is doing in the league and Giannis and Davis. DeMarcus Cousins has had a resurgence in his career, and it's been pretty awesome to watch. So if I were you guys, I would definitely sign up for that. The game of the night, as far as the pick of what I'm going to give you, it's going to be pretty simple. Are you guys ready for this? All right, cool. It's going to be Utah at Chicago. Utah -5. Don't be misled by me saying Utah because the Chicago Bulls are not very good. They're not like a thing. So don't be concerned about them being the Bulls and being like black and red. Michael Jordan isn't walking through the walls. The MVP Derrick Rose is not walking through those walls. Well, no one's walking through walls because they're not ghosts. I'm sure you understand the phrase that I'm trying to use. It's walk through the doors is something that people say. I think it's one of those OG phrases. I'm just not good at that phrase. I was given a couple shout outs to millennials earlier, and now it's obviously that I am one because I'm not able to use one of the OG cliches, walk through the doors. So I'm not good at it. I guess I'll stick to my millennial phrases, like a whole bunch of acronyms for things that we don't want to say, like LOL and BRB and other acronyms that I can't say on the air. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I really expect you to watch those games. Have a great weekend. I will not be here Friday because I got to go report to Portland. There's a joke in there somewhere. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys listening to me. This has been another episode of the GSMC Basketball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Live long, prosper, and watch for potholes.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.